Yet when it comes to Indian politics and making strategies, garnering votes, the dominant themes are still caste, reservations, religion, religious identity. Why you think that has not changed, even with the arrival of several educated people?
So Abhishek, that's something I also got me very curious, and one of the reasons why I also wrote this book is because when I met all of them, that's one of the questions I asked them. I said, "You have your degrees, Lincoln's Inn, Cambridge, Harvard, Oxford. Yet when they come to the ground level, I said, why are you not changing the way politics are fought? Use that knowledge and experience. You worked in multinationals before, joining politics. Politics was not your first choice, so you have a professional background also. Why are you not implementing that on the ground?" But unfortunately, as they say, India is run in such a way that caste and religion become your most important factors, sometimes even overtaking development.
Well, hello and welcome once again to Kitaabi Baatein. I'm Abhishek, also known as Books Wale Bhaiya. My guest today is veteran journalist Priya Sahgal, and today we'll be discussing with her the latest book, The Contenders, Who Will Lead India Tomorrow. This book is sketches of various important political personalities, one of whom is likely to be the Prime Minister of India someday in the future, as has been also prophesied by none other than V. Sanghvi in the preface to this book. So, well, who will become the PM? That is only something time will tell. But we for sure are going to have a very interesting discussion today with Priya on these potential candidates as well as on the future of Indian politics in general. Priya, thank you so much for coming to my podcast. It's absolutely a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much for inviting me and for the lovely introduction to my books. Thank you so much for that.
Sure. So before we begin, a very brief introduction of Priya. So Priya Sahgal is the editorial director at NewsX, where she hosts three award-winning shows: The Roundtable, Cover Story, and We Women Want. She is also a political columnist for the Sunday Guardian. Priya studied at the Welhams Girls' School in Dehradun, completed a BA Honours in English from St. Stephen's College, followed by a Master's in English. Her shows have won several E&B awards, and she also won the British Council Hansard Fellowship, which included internship at the House of Lords. She is based in New Delhi. Priya, so coming to your book, but before we talk about the personalities you have covered and the carefully chosen list of leaders, you mentioned the book in the beginning of the book that you wanted to write this book somewhere around 2004 when we saw a change of regime from the BJP to the Congress government, and you wrote this book much later actually. And today, if we talk about 2024, there is another election, central elections. What do you think has changed from 2004 to now?
Well, Abhishek, the original book I wanted to write was also in 2004 because that's when I saw all these young politicians come in for the first time. I call it the class of
Yes.
2004. There was Rahul Gandhi, Sachin Pilot, Jitin Prasad, even Jyotiraditya was already there for two
Yeah.
years. But, he was part of that whole brigade. So we had these very well-educated young dynasts, most of them who were coming in and making their mark. I thought I would really like to study their politics and see where they want to take India, tomorrow. But more on that later. Then I met Akhilesh Yadav also, and I covered his first election, which made him chief minister. After that, he was coming into his own. So there was a time when all these young people are coming into their own. I thought this is a good time to catch them and write a
Yes.
book. Of course, the focus was first Rahul Gandhi, but Rahul Gandhi, as you know, has not really matured enough, I think, to hold a book on his own. Akhilesh Yadav still
Yeah.
has some potential. They're all at the mid stage of their careers. So then I thought, let's include all of them in an anthology rather than doing one book on one person.
Right. And regarding the people you have chosen, so how did you decide upon including names? And I'm sure it must have been a tough choice. There are more leaders, but eventually have to zero in on some names. So how did that choice came about? Whom to include, whom to exclude?
So we use two or three filters. One, I want to also clarify that this book is called Contenders, but they are not all contenders for the post of Prime
Yeah.
Minister. There are some like Tejasvi Yadav who may or may not, unless there is a united front type of a situation where even a Devi Gowda,
Yeah.
Gujral, a surprise candidate comes up. But otherwise, if you look at it, the
Yes.
Prime Ministers, the way India runs is BJP or Congress really. and in both there is a glass ceiling. There is a Modi on one side and there is the Rahul Gandhi, the Parivarwad on the other side. So there is a
Yes.
limited scope second rung leaders can have. But yet there are leaders with potential who can become influential cabinet ministers, chief ministers,
Yes.
or even at some point prime ministerial. Post Modi era, I'm sure Yogi Adityanath and Hemanta Biswa Sarma have a chance. So there are young generation
Right.
leaders that we should keep an eye on, because they will in some way or the other be influencing the politics of tomorrow. The second criteria
Of
that I
course.
used was the age limit. I used 55 as cutoff because there are others like Mamta Banerjee, Amit Shah, people who are above 55 and have a strong
Yes.
say in the politics of the day. But I thought, India is a country that really honors its old. So we look at experience. Most of our, I think, Nehru may have been prime minister when he was, I think, in his late 50s or 60s, early
Yes.
60s. But
Yes.
beyond
Yeah.
that, there is, Rajiv Gandhi was the youngest prime minister at 40, and that too because of
Correct.
circumstance of accident of an assassination. Otherwise, he would have also had to wait his time. So by and large, I thought 50 is a good time where their politics are shaping up. They are kind of getting into position, and we can, say that these are the guys जो लंबी रेस के घोड़े हो सकते हैं. We can keep an eye on them.
Yes.
That is why I chose
Right.
55. It's not to say that there are not others above 55 who are definitely in the contention also. But I thought this would be a good markup to see who have some achievements, some history in their political career, and a future ahead. So let's keep an eye on this lot. This was the general thinking behind
Right.
this age group.
Right. So as you mentioned, 55 you kept as the cutoff age, and I think by the time, because this time again, high chances are that the BJP will be in power again, and Mr. Modi would be leading, having his third term. So again, if we talk of these people, taking up either maybe a PM source or some other influential post, maybe some a cabinet minister or someone important in the politics, they will again would be reaching the age of 50s or 60s. So
Yeah.
I come back to your point, which you raised in the book, that youth has a different meaning when it comes to politics. Even 50 and 60 is considered as kind of young.
It's true.
We still have many leaders who are in 50s, but we call them Yuva Neta. Do you think this is something which is going to change in the future? Would we have people coming in 30s and 40s? Because in many other professions, we have even in 40s people leading huge organizations, multinationals, people starting their businesses. As an IS, you can lead the charge of an entire district, say at the age of maybe below 30 for that matter. Do you see something like that happening in politics anytime soon?
See, we have chief ministers also who are below, some very young chief ministers who have taken office. Yogi was very young when he became chief minister,
Yeah.
Akhilesh too. So, in that sense, we have that power and responsibility does come even if you are young. But the top jobs, somehow, for instance, as you mentioned, and I also wrote, is, currently, maybe in all probability, Prime Minister Modi is coming back for a third term. So now,
Yeah.
the whole the axis of politics has shifted around one man. The bar is now Prime
Yeah.
Minister Modi. So whichever future leader we look at, we have to compare them to Modi. This is the era of Modi where you
Yes.
have to use him as a benchmark and see how can, even within his party, if Modi nahi to kaun, Gadkari has tried,
Oh,
Rajnath has
yes.
tried, but
Yes.
they've all fallen short. Yogi Adityanath will still have to wait his time, to be measured up
Yes.
for those stakes. Even Amit Shah will have to wait. What is Amit Shah
True.
without Modi? That is another question, for another book. But in this context, Rahul Gandhi, supposing there was no Modi in the BJP, I think Rahul Gandhi would have been in a position to be a prime minister. He would have been, because Congress would have built him up. Congress versus BJP would have been a close enough fight. A lot of the, they would have lost one election, maybe not. The second election, Congress would have won, and so on and so forth. So Rahul Gandhi would not have been made into this pappu sort of figure that he was for the first
Yes.
half of Modi government. He would have had a
Yeah.
better time, because at that time dynasty was a good word. It was a privilege and
Yeah.
pedigree. You were dynast, you were
Correct.
given great power, privilege. All the cabinet ministers are dynasts, or Rahul Gandhi's coterie of people around him were all young dynasts, and it was a good thing. It was not a bad word. It's only when Modi came in that naam wala became a bad thing. Kaam wala got more, merit got more. People, self-made people got more, standing and more acceptability, and suddenly dynasty Indianistic became a bad word. You now see people, totally defending about it and saying, "Chalo, even a Ratan, Ambani's son becomes even a Adani's son." They try to justify that this is the way India is run. Rahul Gandhi, in fact,
Yes.
used this phrase when he went abroad to Boston. So, in that sense, they are now trying to justify when earlier they took it as their birthright. So, that is the difference which Modi has
Yeah.
done.
No, no, that's true. That's true. So we will come to Rahul Gandhi when we talk about the leaders. But before that, one question. So as you mentioned, we have many, our leaders who are now very educated. They have IIT, IIM, even Harvard, MIT background, well educated. Many of them have exposure in the corporate world as well. Yet when it comes to, Indian politics and making strategies, garnering votes, the dominant themes are still caste, reservations, religion, religious identity, and things like that. Why you think that has not changed even with the arrival of several educated people?
So Abhishek, that's something I also got me very curious, and one of the reasons why I also wrote this book is because when I met all of them, that's one of the questions I asked them. I said, "You have your degrees, Lincoln's Inn, Cambridge, Harvard, Oxford. They've all studied in the best of global universities. They have their pedigrees of privilege, their upbringing. Nothing was lacking in that sense. Yet when they come to the ground level, I say, why are you not changing the way politics are fought? Use that knowledge and experience. You worked in multinationals before, joining politics. Politics was not your first choice, so you have a professional background also. Why are you not implementing that on the ground? But unfortunately, as they say, India is run in such a way that caste and religion become your most important factors, sometimes even overtaking development. As
Yes.
Omar tells me, he says, look, when you say कि मैंने ये यूनिवर्सिटी बनाई है, ये फ्लाईओवर बनाया है, people say वो तो आपका फर्ज था, आपने और क्या
First.
किया? So India is looking for that extra, and that extra unfortunately comes in the form of your identity politics. For instance, Rahul Gandhi, when he came first, very idealistic, he says, "Oh, I have no caste, no religion. India is my religion
Yes.
and caste identity." uh, some elections later, he's introducing Sam Petroda in Gorakhpur by his caste. कि ये, I think क्या
Yes.
OB, whatever his caste is, Kshatriya hai. So in that sense, even he gave up. Today he's talking for a caste census at the end of the day, the
Yeah.
Congress
Yeah.
politics. Akhilesh Yadav, again, when his first election, when he lost to Yogi as chief minister, he told me that I fought about my expressway, I talked about my metro, but दूसरी तरफ से बात हो रही थी शमशान घाट और कब्रिस्तान. तो मतलब कि हमारे पास जो एक्स्ट्रा इमोशन था ना, वो हमारे कैंपेन में मिसिंग था. अब ये इमोशन
Right.
जातिवाद का है, रिलीजन का है. इट इज अनफॉर्चुनेट, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी हैव पीपल इन दिस कंट्री हु से आधी रोटी खाएंगे लेकिन मंदिर यहीं बनाएंगे. सो
Behind.
डेवलपमेंट वर्सेस रिलीजन, योर कास्ट
Correct.
रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी विंस. So it is, and they are trying to do their difference. Milind Deora tried, he made a whole this. Even Scindia, they try and put on their websites. They have you can track the projects that we are doing. You can they use their fancy analytical skills and tools to say this is my MP lads is going on this project, and here you can track the progress of this project. But in the end, how many people are doing that?
Correct.
That is the main thing. It is how you are interacting. What is your connect? क्या है आपका? आप कितने accessible हैं? Now that's the other thing. Most of these people have a little bit of a Western upbringing, though they are maybe
Yes.
born here, brought up here. So they the mingling with people उनके लिए थोड़ा सा they have to think twice. Like Farooq Abdullah,
Yes.
when he campaigns, he will
Hmm.
go into your kitchen. He will say आप खाना क्या पका रही हैं, बैठ के खाना भी खा लेंगे. लालू यादव, जो उस तरह का जो लिंक था पुराने पॉलिटिशियंस में, these boys do it, but you can make sure that you can make out that they're doing it as something planned and choreographed, while the older
True.
politicians did it in a very spontaneous manner. So that is
Right.
also something which is missing.
So I think the fact of the matter is whether you talk of digital India or highway constructions or economic reforms, but when it comes to garnering votes, it's a caste and religious tool which is still dominant and is very likely to be dominant at least for the foreseeable future. That's how, as you said, that's how perhaps our politics is, and there's perhaps little we can do about it, and even the so-called well-educated leaders. So coming to the people you chose for the book, like to start by talking about Rahul Gandhi. In 2014 election, just 10 years before, it was being said it's Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. Apparently, it did not turn out the way it was expected because BJP came with a thumping majority. And even before that, like in 2004 to 2014, it was expected, it was being heard, or you can say there were rumors that someday Rahul Gandhi will take over from Dr. Manmohan Singh, that he would be, the PM, or at least will take up an important position in the government, as Dr. Manmohan Singh also pointed out that he wants Rahul to, join the cabinet. However, none of it happened. And what we talked about, Modi versus Rahul Gandhi, I think that era has completely gone. And today, Rahul Gandhi is not exactly being even seen as a contender or as a person who can, change Congress fortunes. Why you think that has happened?
Well, I think the one reason is Rahul's own fault, or the reluctance to assume high office, or the reluctance to engage. This is the same leader who said power is poison the day he was appointed vice president,
Yes,
of the party. So
yes,
there is, either you are there to, power is something which is part of politics. Otherwise, as if you want to do good, as I think Ram Madhav says in my book, then you join an NGO. Because you be upfront about it, that you are in it for power, which is why a lot of these people left. Sindhya, Milind Deora, Jitin Prasad left the Congress because they were, you even if you want to help people, they say that you need the power to help to change things.
of
And
course.
if you are in politics, you are in it for power. Otherwise, there is that hunger for power is missing from Rahul Gandhi, which is there in most of, especially the BJP leaders. Yogi has that hunger, Hemanta has that hunger, a great deal, which is why which makes you work harder and not take anything for granted. I
Right.
always joke that Rahul Gandhi is born with this employment guarantee scheme, because उसे पता है कि because he's the
Yes.
Gandhi, he will become a president. But other people don't have
True,
that
true, very
employment
true.
guarantee. So they have to
That's very true.
work harder. So as a result, what happened was that the 10 years of Manmohan Singh was the lost decade for the Congress, because Rahul was not willing. So an entire generation of his peers were not promoted because they might outshine Rahul Gandhi. So the Sachin
Yes.
Pilot, Sindhya, Jitin Prasad, RPN Singh, they were all made MOSs. They were not made given a much more senior post or real power, because everybody was worried that Rahul is the heir apparent. So first he has to be taller than the others. Rahul,
Yeah.
meantime, was going on this very discovery of India tours, trying to discover, trying to figure out an identity. He is not consistent. I give him full marks for his Bharat Jodo. I think it's done wonders more for himself. For his Pappu image has totally been,
Yes.
gone now, which was, but the BJP troll army went after him. There's no denying that. He was singled out because, as you said, it was Modi versus Rahul. So they had to cut the thread. So they went after him in a big way. But that interview that really killed him, the interview he did with Arnav, was not planned by the BJP. And in fact, Arnav, who's usually very hard on the opposition, on the Congress, was, I think, in that interview pretty soft. He
It was
was
pretty
not.
soft. Yes.
But for every answer, Rahul was giving women reservation. Then later on, I had an interview with Milind Deora. I asked him. He said because that was Rahul's first interview. If it's your
Yeah.
first interview, you are in politics. You should be not shunning the media, giving more interviews, learn how the,
Exactly.
because media perception, optics, that's all part of the package. It's a big today. It's not just the politics; it's the personality. Today we are not voting for BJP. We are voting for or against Modi. It is Modi ki guarantee. It's become personalized. Us दूसरी तरफ कौन है
Yeah.
when they ask, and there is
True.
a gap over there. Again, Rahul and the Congress are not naming Mallikarjun Kharge. Rahul is still there in the building. He may say I'm not the president, but then say I'm not and name Kharge as your face.
Yes.
They're not even doing that. So,
True.
which is why the Congress is still circulating around behind Rahul Gandhi, hoping that one day he'll come. So that confusion is still not helping the Congress.
Right. And other than what you talked about Rahul Gandhi, I think one of the reasons is that either it's whether it's Rahul Gandhi, or for that matter the entire opposition, they are some way or the other obsessed with Modi. They are making personal attacks. They are linking everything to Modi, and whereas many of the leaders in the opposition agree that on the other hand, Mr. Modi has made a persona, a personality around him. People admire him. You may agree or disagree with him politically, personally, but that is a fact you cannot deny. And whether it's Rahul Gandhi or opposition, they don't have anything to offer except criticizing Modi. For example, Chaukidar, Chor and all that. Something which common man does not really care about. If people in a rural village in UP or MP is getting a gas connection and a road built, he's not going to ask that, for how much you bought the Rafale jet. Was it 600 crores or 580 crores? So do you think this obsession with, demeaning Prime Minister at every possible opportunity has actually backfired for Rahul Gandhi as well as the opposition.
Yeah, it has backfired because Modi's own popularity and credibility is huge. You cannot,
Right.
if you just look at what Rahul Gandhi has been saying on COVID, on China, on the economy. Rahul is not wrong. What he's been saying is
Yeah.
he's one of the first to
Yeah.
warn us about COVID, but his credibility is so low that people didn't believe him when he was actually
Didn't believe.
making actually correct.
Yeah.
Dusri taraf, we have someone who is saying, "Don't worry, all is well." Demonetization, anything that Modi says, the public just does it blindly. You how many people went and stood in lines to access their own money, and then again the few months later in the UP election voted for Modi. So that
Yeah.
is the credibility of the man. So you are
Exactly.
coming across a phenomena which which there are ways to counter it, which attacking him personally does not do, because Modi has made that personal connect with the people of India, which Rahul still has to figure it out. But having said that, don't abuse him. The thing is, don't call him
Yeah.
chore. Don't
Yes.
because those things are not going to stick. They're going to actually, he likes it because playing the victim card, both Modi and Kejriwal
Exactly.
are good at it. They are, they capitalize on it. But you
Very
can
true.
attack his schemes. You can actually ask कि भाई ये कह रहे हैं कि growth हुई है, do all of you have jobs? Simple question. Does do the
Yeah.
youth of today, why are graduates still looking for jobs and taking menial jobs because there are no jobs? Make that issue.
Yes.
Talk about inflation. Talk about price hike. Talk about your pockets. Those are issues that hurt everyone. And
Yeah.
you are not blaming Modi directly, but of course, in the end, it comes to the government kiski hai. You can blame him for being
Right.
ineffectual rather than for being corrupt. That is a
Very correct.
better argument.
So, other than Rahul Gandhi, another interesting personality, or I'll come to that later. Let's talk about Kejriwal first, because he's anyway in the news these days. So, he came as a kind of, you can say, a change agent, completely, a leader from a different background. Didn't know, he's not a political dynast. He was a hardworking government professional, and came on the plank of, removing corruption, making India corruption free and all that. What do you think, has the promise been kept, and what potential do you see for Arvind Kejriwal in the Indian political scenario?
See, Arvind Kejriwal is a lot like Modi. You know what you were saying. He's self-made. He's not a dynast. He is a
Yeah,
24/7 politician. He can match Modi headline for headline. He is not a great speaker, but yet he manages to captivate and get people
exactly.
listening.
Get
He
the
knows
people.
how to frame his message. He's excellent on messaging the way Modi is. Again, on religion, he's not countering Modi the way Rahul did. कभी जनेऊ पहनता है, कभी अयोध्या नहीं जाते हैं, कभी
Yeah,
he's not doing all that. He says, I am as much as of a Hindu as Modi. I can. He recites Hanuman Chalisa at the drop of a hat. He's not. He welcomed the removal of Article 370. So he didn't get into that argument. Best is
yeah,
not to engage the BJP on its playing field. Arvind Kejriwal learned that very fast. He refused to get into Hindu-Muslim debates or on any other issue. If he was criticized on CA for not taking a strong enough stand, also, but by and large, he knows that the minority community will not vote for the BJP. It's to woo the
yeah,
majority community. That's why he organized Tirth Yatras for the elderly.
yeah.
All kinds of schemes in Delhi government could have been done by the Modi government. There's a very lot of similarity. What what's his name? Arvind Kejriwal lacks, unfortunately, is a pan India organization. He has the
Yes,
pan India dreams and ambition, but he doesn't have a pan India organization to convert that into reality. Look at Gujarat. Before Congress, it was Gujarat elections, assembly elections. It was Aam Aadmi Party versus BJP. They were taking them on. When I went there to cover the election, people were asking me, "ये Delhi model क्या है?" So in Gujarat, he's selling the Delhi model. While the Congress
yes,
comes in, they have no model. They don't have a Rahul model. Rahul doesn't even have a constituency he can call his own. So forget a ministry, forget a government, which is why he should have taken Manmohan Singh's offer and joined the government. So at least there would have been something that we can say on governance by Rahul Gandhi thinks like this. On
yeah,
constituency, his model is this. Like the way Kejriwal, he has a model. He has two states, one unit, one state. He has ambitions. He is not a team player, which ditto like Modi. Modi is not a team player also, which is why I'm
yeah.
saying both similarities हैं. But uska
Right.
pan, he's a new kid on the block, so give him time. Which
Yeah.
is why perhaps the BJP is also targeting him and taking him so seriously. He is the only chief minister to have been jailed at the end of the day. I mean,
Yes.
the Jharkhand chief minister resigned before us.
Right. And talking to Kejriwal, by the way, Gujarat thing reminds me of one thing. I was watching news, and one of the political analysts told, before Gujarat elections, is
Hmm.
that Congress still has about 35% vote share in
In
Gujarat Assembly. Now you talk of a Congress, many people are writing its political epitaph, Congress is gone, it's only the BJP. And yet this party, which is the bastion of Prime Minister Modi and the BJP since 22 years they're ruling, a party which claims 35% share, vote share, and we are writing it off, it's only because Congress is not able to capitalize on it. It's not a joke you are claiming having 35% vote share, but unfortunately, Congress is not perhaps active enough to work on that and move that 35 to say 37 or 38 or 39. Unfortunately, there is no enthusiasm in Congress to capitalize on this opportunity. So, but coming to Kejriwal once again, do you think the what he built his career on and now his Delhi journey of giving freebies? So I mean, that is one of his core, you can say, political planks, one of his core ideas he's known for. Do you think that is something which only that can help him, expand his reach at a national level, or does he also needs to, reinvent himself in some way?
No, see, freebies can take you that far and pretty far, I must say. It's not just Kejriwal, even what the BJP is doing, what in the South, the DMK, IDMK used to do. Everybody
Yes.
is now turned into freebie subsidized. If you see in Punjab what happened, each party copied Kejriwal's plank of,
Yeah.
this thing, freebies. So I think
Yes.
freebies has again become part of our political because we have, a section of society that needs the freebies, to survive on. You cannot argue against that. But it's
No,
bad
of course. Of
economics,
course.
and
Yes.
reforms again. But reform governments that attempt reforms like Chandrababu Naidu, Narasimha Rao, they don't get elected again. That is the other problem.
Right.
The development, as much as it is needed, is not winning elections. I don't know why. Maybe it's not being translated on ground, or whatever reasons, or they feel the development is for the very rich, and the very poor don't feel that they're part of that India shining pie, so they feel left out, which is why you have to do a bit of both. You have to keep up with the freebies, you can't do without them. But I think for the middle class and the salary class, which is what Kejriwal is doing, things are becoming easy. Services at your doorstep. The After him getting driver's license become much easier. He removed the touts at the license centers. He made
Yeah.
it, the website friendly. So I think Kejriwal has done his bit. It's not that he's just doing freebies. He needs to show that he's not a radical, which he stopped doing. He stopped doing dharnas every day. Towards the end, he was not taking the Modi government on everything. His fights with the LG were more strategic rather than an issue a day. So he stopped protesting, but he needs to focus more on governing. He is,
Right.
a lot of drama, but governance maybe. Abhi be like, we've seen Sheila Dikshit, Delhi. So Delhi has
Yes.
seen that kind of governance. We saw Commonwealth gain. We saw the city change come up. That kind of progress he needs to focus more on. I don't know what the
Right.
fight on funds is, but Kejriwal definitely needs to spend a little more time on governance, and he needs to develop a second rung. He cannot be his
Yes.
own person. Minute Manish Sisodia is jailed, Kejriwal is handicapped. You have to trust more in other people. Why is Punjab's spell is going out of control? There is nobody in Punjab. You choose Bhagwat Man, who is maybe a great politician, but I don't think he's a great governance man. You could have
Governance.
put in
Yes.
a second rung of leaders. Who do you send? Raghav Chadha, who is again the first time MP, Rajya Sabha MP, and now we are told that maybe all is not well between Kejriwal and Raghav Chadha.
Yes.
But you don't trust people. You need to get more organizational people, more people with governance track records, and trust them to deliver, because Kejriwal can't be governing Delhi, governing Punjab, campaigning in Haryana, campaigning in Gujarat. He
True.
doesn't, he's needs to really start building a second rung and
Right.
delegating more.
True. The whole organization cadre has to be built nationally if we have a national dream of reaching
Or even in these
more
two
states.
states, you don't even have an organizational card in Punjab that you can, rely
Yeah,
on. And
that's
Delhi
very
is in
true.
jail, your cadre. So
There is in jail, of course. Most of the key ministers are in jail. Hopefully, I mean, maybe that may not last for very long, but yeah. So the future is still very much there for Kejriwal to go move beyond Delhi. So let's
yeah,
see what does Aam Aadmi Party do. One very interesting contender is which I noticed in your book is Hemant Biswa Sarma. Uh,
yeah,
Interestingly, what is most interesting is that he's an ex-congressman, so does not have that RSS background as other BJP leaders have. He is quite a popular leader, and as you mentioned, he is a person who works at a grassroots level, which is, and we mentioned, which is quite appreciated in today's political scenario, rather than you being a dynast if you're working at the grassroots level. He's quite ambitious. He's doing well in the sense in the Northeast, and we all know the BJP's success story in the Northeast. What you think worked well for Himant Biswa Sarma, and what future do you see? Do you see him as a dark horse who may take up the a very high position someday? Because as of now, when we talk about future candidates, we talk about either Yogi Adityanath, some talk about Amit Shah, but no one is talking about, or you could say very few people are talking about Hemant Biswa Sarma as a potential uh, PM candidate or a very, say, a home minister. What future do you see for him?
No, I'm glad you picked on Hemanta because he is one of my favorite characters to watch out for. He is totally self-made again. He forever, he was running the Assam government towards Taran Gogoi's
Yeah,
last few, term, but he was not given any recognition, and then he fought for it, and he went out and he joined the BJP, and there also he had to wait his turn. The first chief ministership was given to Sarban Sonowal. When it could have gone to Hemanta because again he, from being a number two to Gogoi, he became a number two to Sonowal. But he bided his time. He's got a huge people's connect. His governance is great because he's been actually de facto governing Assam for over a decade now before he became
yeah,
chief minister. So he has the skills, the know-how to do it. He has the gumption. We are told that even in the second time when the BJP won Assam, when Sonowal's term, they were Prime Minister Modi was very keen to make him chief minister again. But this time Hemanta put his foot down and he did a little bit of Shakti Pradashan. The MLAs were on his side and perhaps threatened to leave the party. I don't know what exactly he did, but he managed to have his way and became the number two. He is the became the chief minister. He is. He has the makings of an Ahmed Patel also. If you look at it, he is, he helps Amit Shah in terms of whether it is resort politics or any crisis that Amit Shah is handling, he turns to Hemanta, and Hemanta has really become his right hand man in that sense. So he knows real politics, he knows mass politics, he knows governance. Having said all that, I think. Hemanta is got a bright future. What he doesn't have is that he not doesn't have RSS background, which is why you see,
hmm,
जो नया मुल्ला ज़्यादा प्याज खाता है, he's making a lot of these speeches. As I told you, I was in
yes,
Bhopal and I heard a corner meeting in Bhopal where he says कि मैं CM क्यों बनाऊं ये बाबर और औरंगजेब की औलाद को टाइट करने के लिए. So he says things like Yogi says, as much as fundamentalist as him, hardcore Hindutva. He's also the other problem is he's from the northeast, which whatever which we say,
yeah,
the BJP also looks for a leader from the north rather than northeast. So he's been trying to, but he campaigns in the south. He's there in Telangana, he was there in Bhopal, he was there in Rajasthan. So he has a pan India image despite being from the northeast. So he's working very hard, overcoming a lot of, he's always the outsider but becomes the insider, whichever party he joins.
insider,
That's
yes,
a strong
yes,
point.
that's very true. That's very true. Yeah. So, and as I read your book, I sense that and many things in fact I got to know about Hemant Biswa Sarma because you rightly mentioned he's essentially from Northeast, and it's basically people who are in Delhi or say in North who get more coverage. So typically people they not know much about someone who is from Northeast or some other place, but he is definitely making his presence felt as a key political figure. And when I read your entire book, covered all of them, I realized that he could be, who knows, he could be the dark horse. But however, that is something only that the future will tell. So other than BJP, I think one interesting person is Sachin Pilot.
Yes.
And we also noticed that when there were chances, rumors that he maybe made the chief minister, and I think many people would have expected him because he was relatively young, and we often say that young people should be given a chance, and given that he is now a seasoned politician, he should have been given a chance to prove his credentials, prove his mettle that yes, I am the one you can think of as a future leader. But unfortunately that did not happen, and Mr. Gehlot again continued. What do you make of Sachin Pilot as a politician and his future?
No, Sachin Pilot, in fact, from the second rung of the Congress, even when there was Scindia and the others within the party, I would say Sachin was, head and shoulders above the others. He
Yeah.
that initially that became his drawback, because again Rahul Gandhi and that whole they don't encourage people who are Rahul's age group, and they don't want to promote them too much at the cost of Rahul. But I think that part is now getting a bit over. In that sense, he's proved himself. Sachin, he didn't, he. I asked him, "Did you leave the party? You were trying to rebel," but he says my revolt was against Gehlot, and he was thinking that a lot of MLAs would come with him, and the Gehlot government would be replaced, overthrown, or the Congress would see the leadership would keep its promise to him, because they had promised him a turn by turn chief ministership when they made Gehlot. So he said, I was just, my vote was against Gehlot and not the Congress. And in that sense, a lot of people doubted, but I believe him, because, in the BJP, simple reason, there is no space for a Sachin Gehlot as there is in the Congress. And he has realized that in
Yeah.
the BJP, there is a class ceiling, which even state level, even the center level. But in the Congress, there is scope. Yeah, there is, the Rahul Gandhi is very much there, the Rahul factor. And Sachin, if he gets too popular, there would again be something. But right now, the way the Congress is, it's looking for alternate leaders. They're looking for faces they trust on. He is, again, apart from the Gandhis, the only pan India campaigner the Congress has. He's been campaigning all
Yes.
over in different states. He was in Kerala when I last spoke. He's going to Chhattisgarh. He's in Rajasthan. So he's been also all over the Northeast. He has, he's been working hard on the ground. He reinvented himself from a page three cabinet minister, union minister in Delhi, to a grassroots worker in Rajasthan. There, his community, the Gujars, are not very influential, but he's also reaching out to different communities, and he's building a sizable following. He refused offers to come to Delhi, saying that I want to build my base in Rajasthan. So in that sense, he has got the stamina and the wherewithal to go at it. Let's see how the Congress unfolds, what they do post elections.
Yeah.
There will definitely be a role for Sachin Pilot in the Congress. He will be an influential player. He is, and I think he'll continue with that.
Right. So the last personality I want to talk about is Yogi Adityanath, someone who was always believed to be a hardliner. Very interesting point about this election, as I read, is he has done a lot of benefit in UP. For example, one of the things is improved law and order situation, which many people agree to. So there are several positives attached to him now. When he
Hmm.
joined, when he became the CM, the environment was not really much in his favor. In many BJP candidate, many BJP supporters were a little surprised by the choice of Yogi Adityanath. That has definitely changed his perception. And if whatever I have done interactions with people, I think he is the one who is quite likely to be a PM after Mr. Modi leaves active politics. Likely to be again. So, and I mean, you can say he's a strong contender definitely for the top post. What you think about Yogi Adityanath, and how do you see his future in national politics?
No, Yogi, I agree with you. He stands head and shoulders above a lot of the others. But again, we have to see the age factor, whether they will
Hmm.
make him, or whether Gadkari will still be around, or Amit Shah will want to challenge the prime ministerial stakes. But from this younger lot, Gen X, it is Yogi, because he's got chief ministership for 2 rounds. First time round, he was not the popular. There was Manoj Sinha, the prime minister, perhaps wanted to make.
Yeah.
Yogi
Hmm.
was brought in at the last minute. We are
Yeah.
told that when the result was such that the RSS told Modi, please appoint someone who matches the mandate. And this spiritual guru, political leader is something, leadership is a model that even Modi likes to, emulate also. So Yogi was fitted that bill in terms of messaging, a saffron monk at the head of the chief minister. So the party faithful were happy with that. Second round, however, the elections in 2022 were on Yogi's card as much as Modi's. He
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
was there in all more and more posters. Yogi is as much in demand as Prime Minister Modi across the country in terms of campaigning. So that could also be a bit of his drawback, because, as Modi doesn't like anyone to become, as popular. Of course, Yogi has miles to go. He needs, there is a huge, still the gap between him and Modi is very much there, but it is getting bridged slowly. He's building his own party faithful within the BJP also. There are a lot of people who would like to see him succeed, which is another reason why I think perhaps he and Amit Shah have a sort of a turf war going. He needs
Yes.
to play. Law and order improved a great deal, because during Samajwadi time, that was one of the casualties in the Uttar Pradesh government. Which Yogi, you can say maybe his law and order has a little bit of a religious coloring, But having said that, he's also attacked some Brahmin gangsters also, and demolished
Yeah.
the houses. So it's not that he's just targeting the Muslims. He's accused of playing Thakurwat. He's a Thakur, so he's promoting Thakurs. Thoda bahut hai, but he will overcome it. As I said, he has time. As you know, I don't think Prime Minister Modi is going anywhere, so he has another 5 to 10
Yes.
years
Yes.
to get his act together. I would agree. Definitely someone to watch out for with what you're saying.
Definitely. So, talking about, there are like several people you identified. Apparently, we will be having most likely having a third term of the BJP government. We cannot predict exactly what will happen after 5 years in 2029 or beyond that. It's very difficult to make a call right now. If, a non-BJP government comes to power, whom do you think is most likely to be the top person? And is he or she covered in the book, or you think it will be someone, maybe someone who is not in your list?
Well, in the immediate future, see, eventually, if there's a non-BJP government, Congress will field Rahul Gandhi, whatever they say, But immediately, perhaps, if the numbers are such the Congress is below 100, then they would have to listen to the choice of the allies and probably Mallikarjun Kharge, because Congress, it would have to be a congressman, because as Omar says, Congress is the only pan-India party, in terms of stopping the opposition. They will probably get the largest number of seats simply on that strength of being the largest pan-India party in the opposition. So Congress will field, I think, Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress president, Dalit leader, etc. He checks a lot of boxes, non-threatening to the Gandhis. They trust him. But eventually, Rahul sees himself as prime minister. The Congress would want him
Hmm.
also at, whichever, however long that journey takes. I don't see him putting up a remote control sort of a figure, though he talks about it.
Right.
Immediately Kharge, later on, I guess, Rahul.
And do you see any chance of Priyanka Gandhi becoming a PM, or maybe holding a very important position, if not a PM, maybe home minister, foreign minister, someone like that?
See, Priyanka, for whatever reasons, is not being promoted by the family. Look at her debut. She was given the
Hmm.
tough state of UP to deliver in January, and the elections were in 2019. 3 months before
Yeah.
the elections, she was told to come and deliver UP. Uh, that was tough, but after that, she should have been consistent and stayed on the ground in UP, built it up for 2022. That she didn't do. That lack of consistency, both brother and sister have. Uh,
Yeah.
Currently, the elections, we don't know whether she's going to be fighting the Lok Sabha or not. There's still speculation whether she will replace Sonia and Rai Bareli. If she had to, then will she be announced at the last minute, or she should have been working now and announced earlier so that she could have had, at least 2 3 months to build her position over there. If she's announced as a last minute candidate, how fair is it to her? My
Right.
information is she won't be, but you never know. Never say never,
Never,
really, in the
never
Congress.
say never. That's very true.
Yeah, the way her whole political career is being handled makes me wonder how seriously her own family and how seriously she is taking her political career.
Right.
Otherwise, as I said, she's a great politician. She's instinctive. She loves people. She has a good connect. She knows how to speak. Even not for the outside, Abhishek, if you just give her a role within the Congress, because she will energize the Congress workers. Electorally, I
Yes.
agree. She hasn't been able to win any state except Himachal, where she was in charge. But if you give her
Yes.
a role of settling disputes within the Congress, like the Gehlot versus Sachin. She could have played a bigger role. After Ahmed Patel, you need someone who has the connect and
Exactly.
a bit of
Yes.
authority. Priyanka better than KC Venugopal. Make her general secretary organization. Give her a bigger role. I don't. They're not doing that.
That's true. Well, we don't know exactly what future will bring, but as I think Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji once said that sarkarein aayenge jayenge, desh chalna chahiye. And I think most importantly, that's how it should be. That's what a common man, a common citizen would like to be, whosoever comes in the power. And so, with that, yeah, Priya, thank you very much for having this interaction. It was a pleasure talking to you. And for all those who are watching this, I strongly recommend this book. This tells you a lot many things about our political personalities, as well as the future and the present of Indian politics. And I must congratulate Priya for the book. And apparently, one thing I believe, writing such a book is a very difficult task. You have to remain unbiased, which she has been, and secondly, writing about a personality like Rahul Gandhi or Yogi Adityanath in 20 pages or 25 pages is actually a very difficult task, because you have to see what to include, what to exclude. And I think Priya has done that superbly. So, Priya, congratulations again. It's a wonderful book and one which I strongly recommend.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for your kind words and for this conversation, which I must say I enjoyed thoroughly. You did a very good job. Thank you, and for all your questions and the talk on politics today. So I enjoyed your experiences and anecdotes also. Thanks a lot.
Same here, Priya. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.